Classic Horror Story focuses on a group of strangers traveling in southern Italy who become stranded in the woods, where they must fight desperately to get out alive. This is directed by Roberto De Feo and Paolo Strapoli, who also co-wrote the screenplay, and this just recently premiered on Netflix, where it seemed to have caught a lot of people's attention. I avoided really looking too much into it and decided to go into this one blind, as it seemed like it was trying to go for what the title suggested, and essentially be a take on the classic horror story formula, and I did see that come through. The setup of a group of people traveling in a van about to encounter danger reminded me heavily of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and some of the danger that they encountered, without spoiling anything, gave me some Midsommar vibes, among a number of other films. This is a movie that wears its influences on its sleeve, and I'm always on board with that, as long as you're still able to do something clever and or fun with the material, and give us a fresh spin on classic tropes. Though unfortunately, that wound up not being the case here. While this film could have had the potential of being a loving tribute to the horror genre, it winds up tossing a lot of that potential out the window, and instead gives us a disjointed, half-baked narrative that doesn't quite always add up. There's a twist that occurs in the third act, which again I won't spoil, and this feels like the entire movie was built around that twist, as most of what came before it just felt like a waste of time in hindsight, with a number of plot elements introduced simply to pad the runtime. We get introduced to 5 main characters: Eliza, Fabrizio, who owns the van they drive, a couple named Mark and Sophia, and a doctor named Ricardo. And each of these characters all get this backstory dedicated to them, with large chunks of dialogue set aside that go on for quite a bit. But given what happens, a lot of it winds up being pointless, as it all adds nothing to the story. Why did we need a whole conversation dedicated to a character owning their own business? Or why do we need all these side conversations regarding another character's personal troubles? It's all pointless, and it's not as if it adds to either the character's personality or the conflict. They're still just bland characters at the end of the day. And whoever wasn't bland was just annoying, in particular Fabrizio, whose very lively way of carrying himself becomes grating all too quickly. Also, as an aside, going back to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre comparisons, he reminded me heavily of Franklin from that film, and all I'll say is, that wasn't a good thing. But my thoughts on that film are for another day. There were also some weird pacing issues and jarring tonal shifts that didn't work for me at all. For example, a character gets brutally killed halfway through the film, and everyone else brushes it off like nothing happened in like the very next scene, and they're even laughing together at one point. It made no sense to me. Also, regarding the twist, while I think something interesting could have been done with the reveal, it's once again a squandered opportunity, as the film then rushes to wrap things up as quickly as possible as soon as all is revealed. Certain plot points felt tossed to the side, while the film also makes an attempt at some sort of social commentary, but I don't think it was even sure what kind of statement it was looking to make, and all it winds up doing is just deflate a lot of the tension that was built up from earlier on. I really didn't have a good time with this film, and it definitely did not live up to its title. While it was cool that this showed off its love of classic horror films, there's otherwise no substance to it beyond that. The characters are either generic or unlikable, the pacing's totally off, it's padded with filler, and the twist just undoes any of the good it did. If you haven't seen it by now, honestly, I'd say just don't even bother. A Classic Horror Story gets a 2 out of 10. So let me know, did you see A Classic Horror Story, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like this one? Do you have a favorite Netflix horror movie? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.